Okay, so now we're going to dive into how the task sheet works. So this is kind of like the motherboard of how everything operates. This is the place that you go to kind of figure out what needs to be done that day. Just to kind of, get a bearing on where everything is, what, notifications might have popped up, how you can kind of communicate with us if there's a problem, things like that. So this task sheet is just, the overarching thing that links our design team to our product creator team, to our licensing team, and to us. So we kind of monitor all the stuff in one place. And now it looks a lot, probably more intimidating than it actually is. It's relatively straightforward, and as you jump into it within a day or two, you should have no problem understanding kind of how it all ties together. So to kind of walk you through it, so we create these tasks. So over here on these tasks, we create, a large license fraternity, a big little, large license sorority, all these different things. This is kind of where everything starts. So we will go through and we will create the task. We will put in the design number. Now, just to give you an idea how that works is in Adobe, kind of how our Adobe filing system works is if I click files, it'll bring us back out here. And again, you don't need to worry about Adobe, closable, other, just worry about the KNC folder. Within the KNC folder, you don't need to worry about other Shopify social media pics because one, you went onto Shopify to get the product pictures in the last video. And after you do that, you're kind of just done forever. Unless we add more pictures in the future, you don't need to worry about ever going back on there. Assuming you download them to your desktop and put them in, the correct folders that we have like down here, or I guess these two down here, then you're all good there. So don't worry about any of this other stuff. You might not even see these other folders, so just don't worry. And then inside fraternity and sorority, this is kind of, as again, you can see we had large license sorority task here and a large license fraternity task here. So to walk you through a task, let's pretend our designer is going to start this task right here. So we created large license fraternity and we said we want design number 23 to be created. So what our designer will do is they will go in to our Adobe place and they will click on fraternity. And then in fraternity, they're going to click on design inspiration. And now I'm going to sort this by number to make it easier to find. And you can see these aren't numbered yet. However, if I go down, again, you won't need to actually go in here, just the designer will. I just want to make sure you see how it's all tied together. Well, I sorted from large to small. So start number 1 at the bottom. But we said design number 23 for large license fraternity. So design number 23 is this design. Whoops, where's design number 23? We don't have design number 23 in here. Okay. Oh, fraternity 23. I don't know. We shouldn't have fraternity in front of it. It should say 23. So that's why. So our designer will come in here and they will create this design. So there's it says Kappa Sigma, Lambda Iota. They will create this design for every single large license fraternity. Okay, and then this is where we make revisions, notes, licensing. You guys will be using this column too. Blue stands for notes. We leave the notes, whereas you guys will mostly be leaving the revisions and the licensing. And what you do is just make that cell accordingly. I'll talk about that in a second. But as you can see, you can click on here, and as you can see that we created a note for this design, and it says change lambda iota to established date. Okay, and as you can see, this says Kappa Sigma, Lambda Iota. Well, because we don't want Lambda Iota. We want to say established and then the date that fraternity was established. So our designer will go here and they will create this design number 23 for large licensed fraternities. Well, they're going to come in here and they're going to see, okay, large licensed, and they're in the fraternity folder. So what they'll do, they will create that same design for all of these houses. So we start from alpha epsilon pi and ends at zeta psi. And you can, of course, sort by name, so it sorts the other way, alpha pi to zeta psi. You can sort by what last modified, kind of whatever makes it easier for you to find the stuff. Again, this is for the designer, though. And then once our designer creates all of these designs for all of these 31 houses, and you see it's titled 31 for the 31 houses that are in here, so the designer knows they created all 31, they will put it in the daily submission folder. So once this design is done, I'm going to sort this by modified because obviously this isn't very helpful seeing only the alpha epsilon pi designs. I'm going to sort this by modified. And this is showing me, looks like the oldest design to the newest design because this is alpha gamma rho 3, pi kappa phi 3. 3 is obviously very, very old because the longer we go on, the higher the numbers get. I'm going to click modified again and you can see, okay, now we have the 22s and these are revisions, which is why there's like a 4 in here, revisions from some old designs. But see, now we're at 22 with this, we're at again, that's an older one that shouldn't be there, but that's, then 18 and so on, usually higher numbers, 21. And so we're having to go through and creating design, large license for 23. He had these notes, and once he goes through, he's going to create this design for a single house. So we have two base stores, Kappa Alpha Theta and Phi Delta Theta. Kappa Alpha Theta is a sorority, so shop sorority, Kappa Alpha Theta. You always go to our site, kiteandcrest.com for reference. Shop sororities, Kappa Alpha Theta, shop fraternity, Phi Delta Theta. These are our two base stores. So what our designer will do is they will go through and they're going to mark off. Let's pretend they went through tonight and they created this design. They would sign off on there with their initials and eventually their date. So let's say what's today, the 28th. Okay, cool. They sign off with their initials and the date. Well, what we're going to do then is we're going to go through that next day and we're going to see if that design looked good. If that design looks good, we're going to come in here and we're going to mark it as green. This means our designer is good to make this design number 23 for large license fraternity for every single organization. Because obviously we don't want him to go through and create all 31 designs, for the large license houses, then we don't like them. And then you gotta go through and create 31 more. That's, obviously very inefficient way to do it. So what we do is we have him go through and he would create, a single design for the Phi Delta Theta or Kappa Alpha Theta. And then once it looks good, we'd be like, okay, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna mark it green. That means he's good to go and create it for all versions. So the next day he'd see, okay, cool, I'm good to go. As you can see on this task, 22, we already marked it green. So therefore, he's good to go and create it for all versions. And it looks like he's already started on it. He's not finished. You can see because there's 31 houses. And as you can count, there's 6 here, 5 here, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's 15 done of the 31. However, once he gets this, Phi Delta Theta 22 done, which is right here, so let's pretend he went through and created all of these for the 22, he would mark, the initials that they completed it and that. Cool. So now that means our design team, their job is done for this specific task. Now, if there was a revision we wanted made, we would simply come here, we would pretend that, this one didn't look good. We would mark it red. Actually, that, he'd still signed off, I guess. So 6-28. You would mark it red. And then we come here, we delete this note, and we'd simply make this column red. And then we would change this note to we don't like this or whatever. But for the sake of the video, let's pretend it all looked good. Well, they would then obviously mark off here, 6-28, and that looks good. Now, what goes next is going to be design accuracy, which will be something you guys do, is you're going to come check design accuracy, and then you're going to be uploading things to Shopify, right? So after the design is created, so he creates the design, we mark it complete, he creates all versions. What we will do is we will come in here and we will put on a product. So we're going to put it on the Phi Delta Theta collection or page, or we're going to put it on the Kappa Alpha Theta page, okay? So what we'll do is we'll create a single product on Kappa Alpha Theta or Phi Delta Theta, depending if it's a fraternity or a sorority, where we will kind of set the groundwork. So as you can see on this design 22, right, that he's still working on, we went ahead and said Phi Delta Theta America. So if we go, let's just go to Phi Delta Theta really quick. And I'm going to sort by, I'm going to sort by date, new to old to make it a little easier. So the newest products we got added. I'm on Phi Gamma Delta. Whoops, Phi Delta Theta, wrong house. Okay, and now I'm going to sort from date, new to old. And that should, okay, there it was, new to old, looks like. Let's see, America, wait, did I already miss it? Oh, here we go. Okay, so as you can see, here's the Phi Delta Theta America T. And as you can see in here, we said ready to be duplicated, Phi Delta Theta America T. Well, this means we've gone in and we have put this design that our designer created for, design number 22 on the product that we wanted on. So if you hover over it, you see we created a note. It says comfort color t-shirt, comfort color crew neck. And if you go to our store, well, we put it on a comfort color crew neck and a America tee, which is also comfort colors. And basically what that's saying is these are the two products that we want you guys to create for the other fraternities, right? So basically every fraternity in here, so these, and these, all the way to Zeta Psi, we need these products to be duplicated for these houses. So basically you guys will come in here every day and you're gonna see, okay, well, if this design is ready to be duplicated, I first need to check it for design accuracy, which I'll show you guys in the next video, how we do that. And then once it's ready to be duplicated, I am then going to duplicate it And once I've duplicated for every single product, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to sign off my initials, right? So I'd sign off my initials and the date I duplicated for these products. So if I finished it today, whoops, 28th, I would mark it off as SS628. And what that means is I've created the same product. So I've created these two products for every single fraternity in here, right? For all of these. And then you'd sign off. Well, let's pretend you didn't finish. Let's say you were running short on time. You were doing some other products today as well, and you got to this one last. And let's say you only finished the t-shirt today and you did not finish the crew neck. Well, what you would do is you come in here and you would simply sign off. Hey, today I finished. I do SS, and you see up here we've actually already have some people doing this, which is great. They do t-shirt, the initial, and date, right? Well, we do SS, and we do SS initial, so or initial. And then I would say, t-shirt. Well, that lets us know that, hey, well, today I got the t-shirt done. However, I still have the crew neck to make. This reminds us and it reminds you guys, the next day that, oh, right, so I did the crew neck or whatever. And then let's say you got the crew neck done the next day, well, then you would simply do, SS 6-29 crew neck. Great. And then you go on, you do the first thing next morning or whatever, and then you go on to the next product. So that's how you sign off on that. And by the way I did that enter on Excel, since I know not everybody knows how to use this, if you simply hit the enter button, it takes you to the next line down here. You need to hold the command button, hit enter or return. Now that might be the control button on Windows. I'm on a Mac. It's the button directly to the left of the keyboard. Again, you might need to play around with it, but that's how you do that. Is you hit the command and then hit the enter button. So you'll sign off on it, and then we'll go to Affinity uploading, which again we'll go on in the future. But just quick recap how it all works. I know we covered a lot in this video. Our designer checks large license fraternity. That's what we want the design created for. They check the design number in the design inspiration folder. They check any notes we left for them. They then go through and they create the first version of that design, right? And then once that first version looks good to us, we will come in here, we'll mark it green, which you already have in this situation. And that means they can go through and they create that same product for all the other fraternities, right? So they'll create it for all 31 in this instance. And then once that's done, or even before, as you can see in this situation, he's not created this design for all the houses, but we went ahead and said, hey, we want it on these products. And then obviously once we have that basically tells you guys, hey, I'm good to go and create this product, to copy this product from Phi Delta Theta, copy these two products to all the other fraternities that are on here. And if it was a sorority, you'd go to Kappa Alpha Theta, which is the main store, and then you would copy it from the sorority to all these sororities. So you keep sorority and fraternity separate. And then once that's done, you simply date it, mark, what's been done, mark your initials, date it, and then move on to the next product for the day. And I'll show you how to duplicate these products in a later video. But do keep in mind, you can't, create the product. So you could not go through and create this product yet, because even though we've signed off on it here and we signed off on it here, well, the designs aren't completed yet. He hasn't gone through and finished all the fraternity designs, which therefore means you couldn't even create this product if you wanted to. You have to wait until this is signed off, until this is signed off, and this is signed off to go through and check for design accuracy and create the products. So yeah, that's how that works. And then up here, don't worry about this stuff. This is the old way we're categorizing things, like, putting it in here. So really only for your reference, this is the way you'll be seeing it from now on, is the task, this, and then we're going to be having, whoops, let me go down one, like that. It'll be the name of the item, and then that, and then I need to get rid of that, to be honest. But yeah, it'll be like the name of the item, like this. Okay, let's just move down to here. Name of the item, and then hovering over it, you'll see the notes, what items that entails.